Okay, hello, welcome everybody. This is going to be another faction reveal for Total War Attila, and today we've got the Saxons, which I'm actually quite happy to announce. Obviously, the Saxons invade England, and in the Eurogamer reveal, they're about in Scotland, ready to poise to go towards the south. So this is a faction I will play in 100% because in a weird way they're kind of like the Iceni. I'm from the UK. Saxons obviously start off in Germany, and it's originate from that area, but inevitably Saxons invade and have bases in England. So in theory, English, but that's later on down the line in history. But anyways, let's read this. I'll show you a few pictures of the units, and obviously we do the Wikipedia of the Saxons. Their distance from the heart of the Roman Empire shrouds the Saxons in mystery, granting them the freedom to pillage and conquer as they please. While the barbarians fight over the scraps of the decaying Western Empire, the Saxons look to its northern provinces, neglected and drained of troops. Britannia is an especially tempting target, having faced Saxon raids before. When the usurper Maximus commandeered its defenders. Since then, the Saxons have continued to be a thorn in Rome's side. A series of fortresses, the Saxon shore, has even been established to guard against them, a minor obstacle to a well-marshalled and determined Saxon kingdom. While the weather cools, the sun is rising on Saxon fortunes. Their choices for expansion are many, but whichever direction they choose to advance, these born pillagers are not simple mindless destroyers and balance profit with destruction in their military conquests. So obviously they do like to raid, but they do have settlements as well, by the sounds of it. And generally, they're kind of like what the Vikings would be later on in history. Probably pre-Viking, really, in a sense. Obviously, they would send raiding parties and attack England, like the Vikings would from Scandinavia. So pretty much similar to that, but they settled as well at the same time. But then again, the Vikings did at some point. They settled in places like Scotland and obviously went to Iceland, Greenland, and other places like that. But this is the unit types. I've got a couple of pictures of that. If you've seen the Eurogamer EGX reveal, it's pretty similar. You know what they look like. Chainmail, nice helmets. So they're more melee-based army. They will have horses, but they're probably going to be like the Swaby in a sense. They'll have like light horses, etc. This is people in reenactments for Saxon armor, but they do look pretty cool. And this is another one of the stills from, I think that should be the Battle of Londinium that we've seen as well. So the nice colourful shields, chainmail, so pretty cool units, and expect them to get up close and personal. They'll have berserker units, you name it. Okay, let's see what we can get from here. So the Saxons were a confederation of Germanic tribes on the northern German plain. So obviously, like in the beginning of that, they do actually start off in Germany, which like most of the barbarian factions do come from that kind of area, or they come from the steppes in the east, where the Huns and so forth come from. They settled in large parts of Great Britain in the early Middle Ages and formed part of the merged group of the Anglo-Saxons, UK, who eventually organised the First Kingdom of England. Some Saxons remained in Germany, where they resisted the expanding Frankish Empire, which is obviously France, through the leadership of semi-legendary Saxon hero Wudekund. The Saxons' earliest area of settlement is believed to have been northern Albania, an area approximately in the middle of Holstein, which I assume is probably in Germany. This general area also included a probable homeland of the Angles, which is we've got East Anglia, which is next to where I live. I live in Essex / London. You got East Anglia, which is the Angles, Saxons. All the counties are pretty much in history are named after them, and obviously goes back up, gets more involved later on in history. Along with the Angles and other continental Germanic tribes, participated in Anglo-Saxon settlement of Britain during the age of the 5th century. British Celts, which obviously the ones that paint blue on their face, you see them in the shitty remakes of King Arthur and stuff like that, of the Isles, tended to refer to all these groups collectively as Saxons. It is unknown how many Saxons migrated from the continent to Britain. The estimates of the total number of Anglo-Saxon settlers are around 200,000 during the Middle Ages. Because of international trading routes and continental migration, Saxons mixed with had strong emphasis upon the languages and cultures of North Germany, Baltic peoples, Finnish, Polabian Slavs and West Slavic peoples, so obviously Russia, all them kind of areas, the Baltics. which then eventually will turn into Vikings in a sense. But you get the same with the Normans, which was the Battle of 1066 and so forth. But obviously this is a bit more advanced in history compared to where we are at the moment, the end of the Middle Ages. But that is today's faction. If you're obviously someone who frequents the channel, I'll be doing an episode of Spartacus Rises tonight. I should have 2 left until that's finished, and then tomorrow is the actual DLC, the Black Seas Colony one. I'll be starting off with Massilia campaign straight away, and I'm still getting votes for either Chimeria or Colchis as my second one, but that starts once the Spartacus Rises campaign finishes, but it's only a couple of videos, so it should be done by the end of the week. Okay, hope you enjoyed this one. I'll see you all in the next part.